What's up YouTube? Cliff here with the Sunday Drive, and today we're going to be replacing the timing belt on this 2000 Subaru Legacy. So as we mentioned, we're going to be changing the timing belt on our buddy's 2000 Subaru Legacy with the 2.5 liter EJ251 motor. Now this motor was in a lot of Subarus from this era, so this procedure should be identical for a lot of other vehicles as well. My buddy purchased a full kit that includes not only the timing belt, but a water pump as well. It's a great time to do the water pump because you have to remove the timing belt in order to access it. We're also going to be replacing the thermostat and all the seals and gaskets that go along with this that came with the kit, and we'll have links to all of that in the description of this video. So let's get this car apart and start going. So here's everything that's included with the Asian kit. Now this is not the cheapest kit on the market, but when you're installing something like a timing belt, you do not want any of these parts to fail because it's an interference motor and your motor will basically be done. So in our experience, you want to go with the highest quality parts you can when replacing your timing belt. This kit includes all the necessary sprockets, as well as bearings, water pump, tensioner pulley, and gaskets that you guys are going to need. We'll have a link to this entire kit below in the description, as well as some of the other kits that people use. However, these are all real OEM Japanese parts, so you're getting what you pay for here. We also picked up a thermostat. Don't have to be as particular. Thermostat's a pretty simple device. It's not going to grenade your motor, and we're going to be installing this as well because it's a good time to do it. Subaru recommends that you change your timing belt every 105,000 miles. This car happens to be 50,000 miles overdue, so you can go a little beyond that, but be safe, change it when they say to. First thing we're going to do is remove the air intake. There's two 10mm screws holding it right here. Remove those, and this will just come out. Next, we're going to remove this cover right here. It's in two pieces. There's a nut you have to remove right here, then two 10mm bolts. Remove those, and this will lift right off. Remove your reservoir. It's held in by two 10mm bolts up top. You can pull the hose out and lift that out. Remove the top radiator hose. Now, some coolant may come out of this, so just have a bucket underneath to catch any. Before removing that, I'm actually going to release this just to release any pressure in the system. While that continues to drain, go ahead and remove this 10mm bolt right here, and we'll completely remove this hose. Now, it's a good idea whenever working on a vehicle this old to spray down any bolts with something like PB Blaster to get them as loose as possible so you don't end up breaking bolts or stripping any out. Now, some more coolant might come out of this end of the hose, so move your bucket over. You may need to take a pry tool like this to loosen the belt. Just try not to use anything metal or too sharp that would damage the hose, especially one that's older like this. Now, some of the guides that you may have read or watched recommend removing the radiator. However, it is possible to do this by just removing the fans, and that's what we're going to do for this installation. Now, there's two electrical connections, one for each fan. One right in the center between the two, and the other one on the passenger side right down there. We're going to remove the four 10mm bolts at the top of the fan. Here's the connection. You have to lift up on this center tab right here, and then they come apart. You might want to place a piece of cardboard or something else over your radiator so if you're leaving it in here, you don't damage it during this process. Next, we're going to remove the two belts from the front of the motor. You're going to have to loosen this 12mm right here, and then you're going to also loosen this right here, and your alternator will drop down, and you'll be able to remove this belt.
That actually wasn't that bad though.
Push down on your alternator and slide your belt off. To remove the AC compressor belt, we need to loosen this 12mm nut on the idler pulley. Now what we're going to do is loosen this 12mm bolt right here, and what this will do is relieve the tension on the idler pulley. All right, with that loose, just go ahead and slip your belt off.
Any ideas? Not yet.
Now we're going to remove these two 12mm bolts which hold on the idler pulley bracket. Now you're going to need this, a crank pulley tool. We'll have a link to it in the description of the video. Now, if you don't want to buy this tool or borrow it from a friend, you can do it the old-fashioned way, and you'll take a 22mm socket. You're going to stick it on the nut going through, right in there. Then you're going to get a big breaker bar, and then you're going to blip your motor so that it breaks that nut, because that's under a lot of torque. Just make sure you don't actually start the motor. That would be very bad.
We have our 22mm socket in there, our breaker bar. If you have any extensions, definitely a good idea. We have our crank pulley tool. There's 2 bolts that thread in, and then this sits inside the crank pulley, and it prevents it from rotating while you try to break the bolt.
Now, factory torque, this is 130 foot-pounds, so it's not a piece of cake. It's not crazy, but you're going to need some force. All right, this is where the cameraman gets involved. You're the one that's got to pull, right?
Yep. Right. Hold on. No, you can just do it yourself. It's fine. Cliff.
No, I'm not doing it myself. You're pulling me.
All right. Ready? Here about this. How about? Do you want me to film? Let me film it. Let me.
No.
Right,
Arms on
ready?
it.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. Ready?
Yes.
There you go. Teamwork.
Yeah, one-person job.
Just rock this back and forth, and it might take a little effort, but it'll come right off. Now this notch right here is part of the crank, so you don't have to worry about losing it. It's not a Woodruff key. Now we're going to go ahead and remove all the 10mm bolts holding the cover over your timing belt.
How many are there total? Look, a timing belt. Wow.
So as Matt just removed, you want to make sure you remove this end first, and then you can remove the rest. Oh yeah, EJ Motors, baby.
That's how you know it still has oil in it.
bet
There's
there's
oil. Act like you know about EJ Motor. Oh yeah, typical EJ Motor.
So here's our timing belt. The teeth on this actually don't look too bad. However, at 150,000 miles or so, it's definitely time to do this. It's not something you want to take a chance with it breaking. We have these 2 pulleys right here that are going to be replaced. Now these are color coded with the kit that we have, so you're going to put the red one on the red, black right here. Here's your tensioner pulley. That one's blue. And then we're also going to be replacing this sprocket right down here. Now on the left and the right, we have our 2 camshafts. Those are the most critical for the alignment. You have to make sure you have those right so that you don't have any interference when you start your motor. We're putting the harmonic balancer back on so that we can rotate the motor so that all the alignment marks are at the top. Reinstall the bolt. Now your motor rotates towards the driver's side.
Go ahead and remove the crank pulley again. Just be very careful not to mess up the alignment. Once we have this off, we'll show you everything that we aligned to.
So you want to align this square right here with a mark that's right on the other side of your timing belt. It's going to be very difficult to see on the camera, but it's right back here. You want that aligned. Over on the driver's side camshaft, there is a mark right here, right next to the white paint. It's in orange, right there. And you want that to line up with this notch right here. Over on the passenger side camshaft, you want to align this notch with that white mark right back there.
It's fine. I think I've seen enough.
I've seen enough. I'm going home.
The problem is I can't. My trip home is sitting in front of us. That's the water pump, that black thing. You can get the belt off, we're good. You won't mess up timing.
So you guys can see here from the belt that was removed, it is starting to crack. And this is how these fail. Over time they dry out and you'll get a crack all the way across that'll cause this to split. And that's when your motor goes kablooey.
How many different ways can Cliff think of saying dies?
Death. Now we're replacing these with new ones, which is why we're removing them.
The instructions for this have the torque specs for everything.
Because we're doing the timing belt and you do have to remove that to access your water pump, we're just going to go ahead and replace that at the same time. This kit actually includes one as part of it. There are 5 10mm bolts that hold it in. Before removing those, we need to remove the hoses at the bottom right here. There's a 10mm bolt on this connection right here that we have to loosen, and then this is just a pinch clamp right here that we're going to have to slide back. Coolant is going to come out of these lines, so make sure you have something ready to catch it.
Oh, my dad said the Camaro battery's shot. So Matt, to answer your question.
All right, with those bolts removed, it might be stuck in here a little bit just because of corrosion. You're just going to have to wiggle it and pull it out. And drop the last bolt in the nice.
Make sure you drop it in the coolant.
On the bottom, we're going to have 2 10mm bolts that we have to remove, and the thermostat is right inside. All right, so we got those 2 bolts removed, and then right there is our thermostat. Now we have a whole new water pump, but just to show you guys where it's at, there it is. All right, so there's 6 bolts that hold in your water pump, and this is their locations. A little easier to see out here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. With your water pump kit, you're going to have a rubber gasket, at least if you buy the kit that we got. That installs around this lip on your thermostat. And go ahead and put this in the bottom of your new water pump. And this is how it's supposed to be oriented. I'm not sure if it matters, but on the other one, this little breather valve is at the bottom. Go ahead and reinstall your elbow. Now you are tightening into plastic here, so you do not want to over tighten this and crack your elbow. Now new gaskets come with your water pump. This elbow goes right in there like that. Put that on right there. And then to hold it in place as you put it on the car, just stick a couple of the bolts through to keep it lined up.
That looks right.
Make sure this gasket stays in. Now it's a good idea to go in like a crisscross pattern to tighten this down to make sure it seats evenly on the gasket.
Have your lovely assistant Matt insert the next bolt for you. And there's one more mystery bolt somewhere.
Again, just finger tighten them all before starting to tighten them down. Now I'm just going to go in a crisscross pattern to tighten these all down.
It's a thing that you don't have to do all that often. So they can try to... Right into the fluid.
Give me the magnet out again. Reinstall your hoses.
I think it's called a Grand Vitara.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, actually. It's a girl's car. Hammond from Top Gear drove one and made it a police car and put a thing on the doormat with nails in front of it. Police lights on it, and they called him Captain Barbie or something like that.
Something for you guys to be aware of. This driver's side camshaft is under tension from the valve spring, so it likes to either fall right to here or fall back over to here about a quarter turn. If that happens to you, you're going to need to take a 17mm wrench and pull this back or push it forward depending on which way it goes. We recommend taking a paint marker and marking this bolt to the hub to make sure that the bolt hasn't turned at all. If it does, you have to tighten that up when you're done. To be safe, what we're going to do is tighten everything up and then hold this in place with a 17mm wrench to make sure it doesn't rock out of position because of the valve springs and mess up our timing on the other 2 positions. So we have our new tensioner right here. Now it comes with this pin which is holding down your piston right here. This is under pressure. It takes a hydraulic press to put it back in, so do not move this pin out until you're ready to tighten down on the belt. All right, while you're tightening this down, you want to make sure that you hold this all the way up so that it doesn't get jammed up against your water pump down here. And that way, when you release this pin, once the belt's on, it's going to push tension on here and press down against the belt. Torque it down to 29 foot-pounds. All right, so here we got our new belt. You can see there are 3 timing marks on it. These line up with the 3 timing marks on your motor. Now you want to install this in a counterclockwise pattern from the crankshaft.
Does the timing mark actually line up? When there's pulleys in there, it probably will.
Yep. So as you can see, we have this line lined up right there. In the center, we have this square on the crankshaft sprocket, back to a line right there that you guys can't see underneath here. And on the passenger side crankshaft, we have the mark right here with this line coinciding with that. So this lets you know that your timing is indeed aligned straight across the belt. To be safe, we're having Matt hold the camshaft in place over on the driver's side because it does have tension on it because of the valve springs while we install the remaining sprocket and tensioners. So first you're going to go ahead and put on your tensioner, tighten this down to 29 foot-pounds, and then you can either put on your black or red. It doesn't matter the order, but those both go on next. Also tighten both of these down to 29 foot-pounds. Do not release this clip yet. We still haven't released it on ours. As you can see, we have everything installed. The last one that you're going to install is this sprocket down here. This also gets tightened down to 29 foot-pounds. The way that we got this sprocket in is we went in on an angle because this bolt can go in straight and this can be twisted on it. And as you tighten the bolt, this will straighten out the sprocket. So that's how we got the sprocket on. That's the last piece we put in because it has teeth. You can't adjust the pulley at all once this is on. So this is the last one that needs to go on. Once that's on, everything's done. And you can see this is how everything needs to be routed. You need to go above, under, over, on top right here, under your sprocket, over top of your water pump, your last camshaft, and then underneath your tensioner pulley. Now what we did is once we had everything installed like this, again, this pin is still in here, we hooked up the center sprocket and we turned the engine by hand. We did about 8 rotations. Each time we did a full rotation, we made sure the alignment marks were still the same on both sides. Now when you have this sprocket back on the center, you can't see the center alignment. So your last full rotation, make sure that you end with both of the ends aligned, and then you can check your center crankshaft to make sure it's still aligned. Keep in mind that the belt does not do 1 full rotation with the sprockets and crankshafts, so the yellow lines are no longer lined up. Not sure how many times you'd have to go around for the yellow lines to line back up at some point. So now we have to pull this pin, and there's no going back.
And it doesn't move.
Yep. So keep in mind this pin is going to go up very slowly, so you probably could stick this back in. Let's see if we can get it back in. Nope. Yep, so once you pull that, it's pulled. And this is a pretty handy tool right here. I'll have a link to it in the description. Definitely helps with filling your coolant. You fill this up, and then as the car runs, it'll suck more of this fluid into your cooling system. Alright guys, that is it. We have everything done and installed. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If it was, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and if you need any of the parts or tools that you saw in this video, they will be linked down in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys here next time.